okay. He just wanted his machete back. Whew.
Where do we begin? As a lifelong horror fan, I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly of the horror genre. And with Friday the 13th, the franchise consists of 12 movies, so it's only guaranteed that at some point it would drop off in quality. And it really didn't take that long for the franchise to do just that, and by the time we get to Jason X, the 10th film in the franchise, boy does it fall off a cliff. There was a lot that went wrong with this film. From it fully leaning into absurdity with an over-the-top premise, campy dialogue, and characters that seem aware of how ridiculous the situation is, this movie's ludicrous plot, which places Jason Voorhees in space, is a drastic departure from the slasher formula that made the Friday the 13th series iconic, turning the franchise into a sci-fi horror spectacle. Even the introduction of Uber Jason, a cyberkinetic version of the character, is one of the film's most memorable moments. But what if I told you these exact reasons are what make Jason X so bad that it's good? Let me just start off this video by saying I love Jason X, I love the Friday the 13th franchise, he's one of my favorite villains, and this is one of my favorite horror franchises of all time. So regardless if I'm out here saying this isn't a good movie, I still love it, I still enjoy it. Like the opening of the movie, I thought the opening of the movie was pretty good. We see Jason in the headquarters, he's surrounded by the team in there, they're studying him, they're trying to keep him captive. He's all chained up, and to be honest, I love the look of Jason, I love how he's chained up, I love how they made him go back to human Jason. The mask is even different, it has a sharp look to it. He got a little bit of a balding going on, he's losing his hair, but there's still a patch at the top of it. The outfit was good too, I honestly thought this was a pretty solid look for the character. The FBI, the group that was holding him captive, they thought that they had him under control, but of course, as you would expect in a Friday the 13th movie, someone slips up, resulting in Jason escaping. He wipes out the entire unit in a fashion that only Jason Voorhees can, and that leads him to going after Rowan. The two of them get into it a little bit, resulting in the two of them giving each other blows, and they eventually get stuck in the hyper chamber and they get put to hypersleep. They're frozen for many years until a space crew ends up finding them, and when we're introduced to this space crew of students, this gives us an idea as to how bad the movie's gonna end up being, because right away when we're introduced to them, the movie gets pretty damn campy pretty damn quickly. The characters in this movie, they're one-dimensional, the dialogue is unintentionally humorous with awkwardly delivered lines that makes the film feel as though it's in on the joke. Now don't get me wrong, this isn't out of the ordinary, that's typical for a Friday the 13th movie. Some pretty annoying, unlikable characters at times, which is why I'm confused when people have complaints for other movies in this franchise. They act as if all the movies don't have it. So again, annoying characters, horny characters, in line with the series. Speaking of annoying bad characters, how about that hot-ass robot? Y'all know the robot I'm talking about, KM14. They made her a love bot, a companion, for whatever reason. But hey, let's make her attractive at the same time, and you know what's funny? The character of Aaron, he falls for her. All the women on the ship, and bro couldn't get any play from anyone other than a robot. But hey, I ain't mad at it, get your nut off any way that you can. And I must say, this movie feels like Star Trek. You know, I've never seen Star Trek, but I can only assume this is what Star Trek feels like. It just has that weird space sci-fi feel to it, and a Friday the 13th movie shouldn't have that at all. So yeah, this movie is definitely missing the summer camp environment. However, a positive, a highlight of this movie are the kills. This movie has some pretty solid kills, including arguably the best kill in the franchise. When Jason takes that girl's face, freezes it in the sink, and then proceeds to smash her face in. Great kill, great practical effects, and again, arguably, if not the best kill in this franchise. And I think the other kills in this movie, they were solid as well, or at least solid for this type of movie. Given that this movie did take place in space, it did have to do something different, and I think it did just that. And what I mean is, this movie feels video game-ish at times, cartoonish at times. And ironically, we even see two of the characters playing a video game, a virtual reality video game at that, and at first you think it's real, they're going after aliens, only for Jason to interrupt them, ruin their game. This eventually leads to the SWAT team on the ship hunting down Jason, only for him to pick them off simultaneously. So with this movie being in space, I think that element added something fun to it. So again, for all the bad that this movie is, it does do some things that are good. And the big thing that this movie did, it was give us Uber Jason. Somehow, some way, nanobots that look like ants, they resurrected Jason after he got blown into smithereens by KM14. Now why the hell was this setting still on? Why didn't they think to turn it off? Because of course Jason, he's still on the ship. Bro came back like the Terminator, he was a tank, and honestly, I love the look of the character. I think Jason X, his look in this movie, Uber Jason, it was pretty damn good if you ask me. It's robotic-like, he's big, he's stocky, he's intimidating like he always is. I thought the mask was pretty cool, the machete, that was revamped. His eyes were sinister looking, something like Anakin Skywalker out of Star Wars when he turned to the dark side. So I think we can all agree that the look of Jason in this movie was pretty epic. And I like it. I love the roboticness of the character. I think it added something new to the film, to him as well. And we even see Jason, now Uber Jason, fighting against KM14, but clearly she didn't stand a chance. It makes sense that she stood a chance the first time because he was still human, he was still able to be killed, but this time, nah. I just think that what I love about this movie is how campy it is, how it doesn't take itself serious whatsoever. It's in on the joke, it knows that it's the butt of the joke, and it's okay with that. It gives us exactly what we're looking for, a dumb, fun, good of a time. And we even see that take place towards the end of the movie where the characters try to trick Jason into making him think that he's at a summer camp. And what better way than to give him two horny teenage girls, and he was just having fun, packing them away in their slumber bag and smashing them on a tree. Very reminiscent, something to what you would see in the earlier films, but more in a comedic way because of course it has to do that in this type of movie. And what takes the cake is the ending of the movie where we see Sergeant Brodsky. He kills Jason, or so we think. He tackles Jason into space, the two of them go off, and they're now crashing down into Earth as if they're a shooting star. Brodsky's clearly burning alive, but Jason, nah, that doesn't do it to him. This dude obviously just can't be killed no matter what you do to him. You drown him, you blow him into smithereens, he's burning on fire. Nah, nothing seems to work. But I guarantee that any other movie in this franchise, I think that would have did the trick, but again, this movie, it's not taking itself seriously. Just for the movie to set something up at the end, showcasing that Jason is still alive and a new group of teenagers, young adults, that are gonna find him and then be tormented by him next. Ultimately, it's the film's embrace of its flaws and its willingness to go to ludicrous extremes that make it a cult favorite. Jason X proves that sometimes a movie's shortcomings can become its greatest asset. This movie is super nostalgic for me. It has a crazy rewatch value. I watch it every year, every chance that I get. And to be honest, if you had this movie ranked high in your Friday the 13th ranking, or even if you had it low, I wouldn't be mad at either or, because Jason X just so happens to be a horror movie that's so bad that it's good. If you made it to the end of the video, I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and if you want to watch more content from me, go ahead and check out some of these videos right here, and be sure to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all of my content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.